Hello there, we're here with another video. Today we're going to be covering PvM basics. As I start to get into covering more PvM content, I want to lay a foundation for you so that if you are new to PvM, you'll be able to learn along with me. This will be a long video, so timestamps are here for you to jump around to what you want to see. Without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing we need to cover is War's Retreat. It's a great place for PvMers and help change how the landscape of PvM works. It was released in January of 2020, and there are things I want to look at there. However, we need to know how to get there first. It's found north of the Draenor Lodestone. You just teleport to the Draenor Lodestone, and there will be this structure about a couple squares north. The item on the left is Death's Hourglass, while the item on the right is War's Insignia. Click on War's Insignia, and you'll be teleported into the PvM hub. The first thing to look at in War's Retreat is the hub teleport. It only requires 10 boss kills to get, and the teleport itself costs no runes, which is incredibly powerful. So if you teleport to War's Retreat, you end up right where we came in, and now you're about 3 or 4 squares away from a bank, and you're also around all the other benefits of the area. The second thing to highlight is the teleport portals. There are 4 in total, as you start with 3 by default, with the 4th one being unlocked at 100 total boss kills. The far left portal will teleport you to your Reaper task from death without having to reattune the portal from the middle 2. The middle portals can be attuned to any boss. However, in order to attune the portal to a specific boss, you need to have killed it once. The portal on the far right will be attuned to the most recent release of a boss, or if there is a seasonal event. As Shadow Reef was the last boss released, it currently attunes to that one. The next item to look at is the Altar of War, which gives us access to the Altar of War, which restores prayer and summoning points. It requires 200 boss kills to unlock. What you do is you just teleport into War's Retreat, and you click on this, and you will get full prayer and summoning. Very nice when you come back from a trip. You can just go to teleport in, walk over to the prayer, and then go right to the bank and be ready to go again. The next item in War's Retreat is the Adrenaline Crystals. They are located right by the portals and require 1,000 boss kills to unlock. They charge up your adrenaline to 100% very quickly and can be used to help speed up your boss kills. Generally, with how quick it is to teleport to War's Retreat, get down to the crystal and charge your adrenaline back up. Basically, every time you hop through this portal, you should want to have yourself at 100% adrenaline, assuming you have the 1,000 boss kills to unlock. So the final static item in War's Retreat is a Bonfire boost. You can gain your Bonfire boost by clicking on this Campfire. The boost is calculated as follows. Your fire making level determines the HP boost. At level 99, it is 5%, while at level 1, it is only 1%. The log that you use to get the Bonfire boost determines how long it is. Elder is 66 minutes, while normal is only 6 minutes. You can unlock the higher tiers of Bonfire by bringing 1,000 logs and getting 1,000 marks of war. I'd suggest going all the way up to magic, and then once you have enough money that you can dump the 10 mil into the Elder Campfire, you should then do that. In order to get these buffs, you need Marks of War, and Marks of War are gained by killing bosses. You can get a maximum of 1,000 of them per hour. So to get the full Bonfire is 6 hours of PvM. In terms of other unlocks, there are a total of 5 auras you can get from War's Retreat. The Maniacal, Reckless, and Berserker auras are incredibly powerful as they represent about a 20% accuracy increase and a 10% damage increase when not in a damage boosting ultimate. So that is incredibly powerful, while Vampirism is a very good aura for Slayer or AFKing, while Dark Magic is a great aura when you have 100% accuracy at a boss, and as Jagex moves more into having 100% accuracy at bosses, an aura like Dark Magic becomes more and more useful. Finally, there is the Aura Refresh and Life Refresh page. which you can use your Marks of War to buy. There's no other thing you have to add to it. This just lets you reset your auras so you don't have to worry about timing your cooldown on auras. This is an absolutely amazing change that Jagex made. I now, like for example, I have Penance running down right now, but I don't feel like I'm worried about the time of the aura running, so that's good. There are 4 main types of food that we want to look at that the average PvMer would use. We have Guthix Rest, Jellyfish, Hard Food, and Brews. They all have their uses, and I'm going to go over what each one of them does. The first one we're going to look at is the Guthix Rest, which restores 500 health and has no noticeable downsides to it. The only downside associated with it is that it only heals 500 per dose, so the amount of HP you can store per inventory slot and the amount of healing you can do at once is considerably lower than other types of food. Jellies fall in the same pattern, but they heal slightly more at 750 per, and they only have 3 bites though, so a total one of this is about 2350, which is less than the Sailfish, which has 2400. However, the Sailfish has a negative associated with it that whenever you eat a Sailfish, you lose out on 10% adrenaline. This goes for all hard food like Sailfish, Rocktail, Sharks, Monkfish, Sailfish soup, any sort of fish or meat-based food will drain adrenaline, except for jellies. And finally, we have the Brews, which are basically a souped-up version of the Guthix Rest here, which heal 1000 every time you drink it, but they have a negative associated with it that it lowers your stats. And by lowering your offensive stats, you lower your DPS. So it's a little of a balance between, do I need more food or do I need to maintain my stats? When you're using overloads, your stats will replenish every 15 seconds. You don't need to worry as much about the negative effects, but you'll have lower DPS for about 15 seconds. Now, the final thing I want to show off is that you can combo eat by eating a hard food before a drink food. So if I hit my keybind here for Sailfish and then Brew, I'll use both of them. I was already at max HP, so I didn't gain any HP, but otherwise I would have gained 3,400 HP, which is a great way to gain a lot of HP at once. It should be noted that you can't go brew fish, otherwise you won't be able to eat after drinking a potion. So there are 3 main types of abilities in this game. There are basic abilities, threshold abilities, and ultimate abilities. Basic abilities provide you with 8% adrenaline every time you activate them. I'm gaining 9 because I have a relic associated with it, but you'll be gaining 8 if you don't have that relic. Thresholds cost 15% adrenaline to use every time. So if I activate Wild Magic here, I went from 87 to 72, now 84 to 69 for Asphyxiate. Then once you're at 100% adrenaline, you can activate an ultimate. There are 2 types of ultimates. There are damage boosting ultimates like Sunshine or Metamorphosis for magic, and then there are non-damaging ultimates like Tsunami or Omnipower. Generally, you don't want to use the non-damage boosting ultimates as they are considerably less DPS than the damage boosting ones. Now, whenever you use a damage boosting ultimate, you want to make sure that you put on a Ring of Vigor, which can be bought with 50,000 Dungeoneering tokens. The reason why you do that is that you end up with 10% adrenaline left over, and if you combo that with an adrenaline potion or replenishment potion, you gain up to 35% adrenaline, which means you can use Wild Magic and Asphyxiate your threshold very early on into your Sunshine. So let's show it off here. I'm going to put my Ring of Vigor on. Now I'm going to activate Sunshine, Adrenaline Pot, and use 2 abilities, and now I'm already at the point where I can use Wild Magic, and then 1 ability later I can use Asphyxiate. Now if you look at the cooldowns here, Wild Magic cooldown is still within the time I have left on Sunshine. So if we go until our Wild Magic is up, we'll be this ability here, we can wild magic again. So that way we get 2 times of our best ability in our damage boost ultimate. And if you have the planted feet perk, that extends to 37 seconds, which allows you to get a second full asphyxiate in there as well. The one final thing I want to highlight is adrenaline stalling. As you can see here, I just dropped out of combat and I'm now losing 5% adrenaline per tick. But if I use defensive abilities, I can now maintain my adrenaline. And for example, if I just finished off my Vindicta kill and I'm at 27% adrenaline, I can then use an ability every 10 seconds in order to make sure I don't lose adrenaline. So the 3 most common abilities to cycle between are Anticipation, Freedom, and Surge. But if you have a shield with you as well, you can also use Resonance, Preparation to help you adrenaline stall. But you'll get used to the timing in your head of about 10 seconds. And then, for example, an ability like Anticipate, the timer is 10 seconds long, so I know when that gets down really low, I need to use Freedom. And then Freedom has a 30-second cooldown, so I can look at this cooldown timer and know when it gets to about 21, I'm going to go ahead and use Surge. And then, same thing here, I know when Escape comes off cooldown here, that I'm going to use Anticipate again. So if you do this adrenaline stalling in between kills, you'll drastically increase your XP per hour, and you don't need to waste a relic spot on infinite adrenaline stalling. The last thing I want to do is go through the ability damage and accuracy formulas. So we're starting off with the ability damage formula, which is split up into 3 parts. You get some damage from your weapon, some damage from your character, and some damage from the rest of the gear you have on. The thing to pay attention to is that weapon level is scalar. So the difference between going from 70 to 80 and 80 to 90 is the same for damage. So a 2-tier increase will be the same no matter where you go, as you gain 14.4 ability damage per level tier. It should be noted that when you're using mage or range, it's going to take the minimum of your spell level and your weapon, or the minimum of your weapon and your ammo level. So for example, if you're using Ascensions with Royal Bolts, you're only going to be getting level 80 damage, as Royal Bolts are level 80, while the Ascension Crossbows are level 90. Now for the character level, it takes your total level once everything has been calculated in, and gives you 3.75 damage per level. Additionally, boosted levels provide a secondary boost of 4 to 8 per hit. This doesn't go into ability damage calculations, but I thought it was relevant to put in there. So it really shows how powerful boosted levels can be. And then finally, your style bonus is from all the gear, amulets, top, helms, bottoms that you wear, and that's multiplied by 1.5. Then you add up those 3 numbers and you get your base ability damage. That ability damage is then further boosted by things such as prayers, auras, slayer helmets, and perks. So you'll have to do bigger calculations, but that's kind of more for another video. Then if we get into the accuracy formula here, it's a little bit different, as it only takes into consideration the main hand. So your offhand weapon has absolutely no bearing on how accurate your abilities are, which is why offhand weapons are usually the last thing to upgrade, as you only gain that 4.8 ability damage per tier from using them. Another thing to pay attention to here is that the weapon accuracy formula and the character accuracy formula is not scalar. It is cubic. So that means that as our level goes up, our accuracy goes higher and higher and higher. So a difference between level 90 and 92 will have a massive difference on the accuracy, but won't have a big difference on the damage. Now, it takes your weapon accuracy as 2.5 times more important. I think that's there due to the fact that our character level, when it's boosted, gets all the way up to 130, 140 once you take the prayers into consideration. so they didn't want to balance too much on that side. Then that accuracy number you get at the end is then put through a boss's affinity and defense stat to end up with a total hit chance percentage. This accuracy number is also boosted by prayers, auras, and the Slayer helmet if you're on task. One thing I did want to differentiate between is the difference between hit chance and accuracy. Hit chance is your total percentage chance. So if something says you currently have a 70% hit chance on something, and an item says, I'm going to give you 10% more accuracy, that would go to 77% because your accuracy is a number and not your total hit chance. While if you have an item that's, say, the Reaper necklace, which is going to give you 3% more hit chance, it would then go from 70 to 73. So that means things like Reaper necklace, other items that give you hit chance are considerably more valuable the lower your accuracy is. So if you're hitting something at 80, 90%, the Reaper necklace will be a relatively small increase in damage, while if you're at 50%, going from 50 to 53 is a much bigger increase in accuracy. So that can help you to make a decision on which amulet to use. Hope you enjoyed the video. There was a lot of other topics I wanted to go, but I started to get into them and then it got way too in-depth for what this is supposed to be. Even these formulas was a little more than I wanted to show, but I wanted to show where your damage comes from and where your accuracy comes from so you can make smart decisions about what gear to buy.